It's national meets regional. Welcome to Sidewalks Entertainment, the long-running celebrity, music, and art series. Join us now for an exciting new path to celebrity interviews, music, rising talents, and much, much more.
Before he was a plane crash survivor in the TV series Lost, he went on a quest for one ring that ruled them all in the Lord of the Rings film trilogy. He now stars as an NYPD detective in the TV series 100 Code. I'd like to welcome Dominic Monaghan. Hi, Dominic. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.
Now, of course, many of us remember your character, Mary, one of the main roles in the Lord of the Rings film trilogy. How much did your life change after the trilogy was finished?
I mean, it changed a lot. It's strange, you know, I talk to people about that. When it's you that's involved in that experience, it feels quite normal. It's everyone around you that kind of reacts to it. You know, if you have a bizarre job, if you're a clown or a juggler or something, people think that that's quite strange. But if it's your day-to-day, you just kind of get on with it, and that's life, you know. I always wanted to be an actor since I was a little kid. I always wanted to be involved in big pieces, big kind of marquee pieces. Lord of the Rings was obviously that thing. But, you know, I still went shopping. I still bought my own groceries. I still did my own laundry. I mean, those things never change. You decide what changes in your life, you know.
Now, did people quote your lines a lot when you ran into fans, when you were out and about?
Sure. I mean, there was a point where, there was a while there where Lord of the Rings was, you know, kind of the biggest movies in the world. And, you know, you couldn't go anywhere without people talking to you about it. You just have to use it to your advantage. I mean, it's, you know, it's a very helpful way to get restaurants at tables or, you know, get upgraded in hotels, you know. But it's a fantastic movie and something that I'll always be proud of being involved in.
Now, what some of us might not know is that you're a wildlife enthusiast and nature lover. Did your love of nature come before or after your role as Charlie Pace in the TV series Lost?
Oh, yeah, it was way before that. I mean, my father was a biology teacher. My brother's a biology teacher. We had crazy animals in our house when we were younger. I was obsessed with insects. I'm still obsessed with insects. We would constantly be bringing stuff into the house to identify them. And obviously going to Hawaii, there's different animals there that you can hang out with and go scuba diving off the coast of Hawaii. But I've been an animal lover all my life and something that I'll continue to kind of champion behind, you know.
Now, what's your fondest memory of working on the show Lost?
I really liked surfing, you know. I mean, I surfed quite a lot while I was there, and that was really fun. I kept chameleons in my garden, which was an amazing experience. And, you know, the weather's great and the people were lovely there. And being involved in something, again, like Lord of the Rings, that kind of whips people up into a frenzy was a lot of fun.
And you also host the TV series Wild Things with Dominic Monaghan. Outside of your TV show, what nature-related hobbies do you enjoy on your off time?
Well, I mean, I go hiking a lot and look for stuff. I'm constantly locating and identifying animals for friends when they see something. I've got a friend right now who's in Vietnam, and he was sending me videos of a spider the other day saying, is this dangerous? What should we do about it? So I'm constantly giving people advice about that. In my house, I have 3 lizards, 2 spiders, bees, praying mantis, you know, lots of different animals that I'm constantly studying. And that's one of the reasons why.
So you really are into nature and wildlife, huh?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I have a social media presence, is if people want to ask me any questions about certain animals and what they should do and how they should treat them, you know, I'm always available to do that.
That's awesome.
You came a long way for what could very well just be a coincidence.
Came a long way for a lot more than that. 2 years ago, on the first day I went in, 2 very young, very blonde, very beautiful college students went missing in Stockholm. One in Saxstund and
Docksund.
Whatever. Those girls were never found. I think our guy abducted them, killed them, and then for whatever reason, job, personal, whatever, he went to New York and started killing girls there. Now, if we can prove that he killed that girl out in Ingmar Johansson, or whatever the place is called, then he's back, and he's not stopping. He likes it too much.
And now you star as Detective Tommy Conley in the crime drama 100 Code on WGN America. Tell me a little bit about the show.
100 Code deals with a detective called Tommy Conley who is trying to track down a serial killer in New York City. The case goes cold there and seems to show up in Stockholm, which is the capital city of Sweden. So he heads over to Stockholm to try and track the killer, but obviously the rules don't apply in Stockholm as they did in New York. So he's not allowed to carry a gun anymore. He has to do things by the Swedish jurisdiction and have a Swedish partner. And that causes quite a lot of friction, whilst he's looking for a very dangerous murderer.
How old you make her?
18, 19 maybe.
You got a date when she was killed?
From the look of things, on or about.
On or about doesn't tell us anything. When you do your job correctly, you'll find out that she was killed the same date the first girl was found here. December 21st. First day of winter in the States. If that doesn't jive you, let us know.
Vad är det för jävla idiot?
Det är något jävla amerikanskt missfoster vi får på.
Yeah, you know, your character's personality really seems to set a very strong presence on screen. Now, compared to other characters that you've done in the past, what do you enjoy most about playing the role of Tommy Conley?
Tommy wasn't the most enjoyable character that I played, to be honest. He's quite a dark character, you know? I mean, there's things about it that are enjoyable. I'm quite a happy person, so playing someone quite dark was a challenge, and I enjoy a challenge, you know? But I think it was certainly very different from the person who I naturally am. He gets to do stuff that is always fun for an actor, you know, getting fights, getting gunfights and beat up people and, you know, jump into the ocean and all that kind of stuff, chasing criminals. But living in Sweden was probably the most amount of fun for me, you know, new food, new city, new people, new friends. That's always fun.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say how dark he is and everything, because I think that's what really is intriguing about your character, is that he's really dark. He seems aggressive, and he's very determined, you know, in finding the murderer. Now, when it comes to filming a new episode, what do you look forward to?
I mean, I like scripts. I like dialogue. You know, I like kind of long scenes where we understand a little bit more about the characters. So being able to work alongside, you know, some great Swedish actors and, you know, kind of unwrap those characters was really fun. And some of the action stuff's fun, driving fast cars and, you know, beating up people and, you know, chasing people through the streets of Stockholm is always fun, you know. As an actor, I like variety, and I like not repeating myself. And there were a lot of things that I was able to tick off with Tommy Conley that I hadn't done before.
Now, speaking of beating up people, a few years back, you starred in the music video for Eminem's "Love the Way You Lie," where you were the bad boy love interest of Megan Fox. I loved that character. I mean, it was in a music video. You don't hear the dialogue, but I loved your character. Right. Now, when thinking about future projects you might like to pick up, what genre or character would you imagine that being?
I always just like doing different things, you know. I would love to be involved in anything that Pixar does, because they make such fantastic movies. And in the last few years, movies like Up and WALL-E and Inside Out and Coco have been some of my favorite movies, you know. So I'd love to do that. I'd love to do kids films. I like fantasy films. You know, I grew up with things like The Goonies, Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know. So a lot of flights of fancy and fantasy stuff is the stuff that I'm interested in as an adult, you know. So I never really draw the line at anything that I won't do. Yet. We'll see as I get older, you know.
Now, before we run out of time, I do have a fan who would like to ask you a question. He says that he's a very big fan of yours. And this is from Mike out in Santa Cruz. It looks like it's a two-parter. He asks, what were the prosthetic hobbit feet like in Lord of the Rings? And were you a Tolkien fan before the movies?
Yeah, the prosthetic feet were kind of like slippers, like very fragile slippers that kind of came apart if you aggressively turned in the wrong direction. So you're constantly having your feet redone. Took about 2 hours to put on. Took about an hour to take off. So there was a challenge with that. Yeah, and if you walked on anything hard, like, you know, I got quite a few splinters, and you know, you're basically walking barefoot quite a lot. So that can be a little bit of a challenge. And then, yeah, my dad's a big Tolkien fan, and we lived in Germany when we were kids. We would drive back to Manchester, where my family were from, and on the drive back, which was about a 7-hour drive, we would listen to the Lord of the Rings radio plays. So I knew all about Gandalf and Bilbo and Gollum and Aragorn when I was a kid. So the opportunity to be in those films was a great thing for me, but also a great thing for my dad as well.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
You're welcome, Lori.
All right. So 100 Code on WGN America. Thanks again, Dominic. You take care.
See ya.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit sidewalkstv.com.